We have got a few bad apples, and we didn't deal with it quickly enough, Arnold told him. Meyer quickly disagreed. The problems are perceived. He said later that night about those people from both sides. It was like the Arab Israeli peace accords. Jacques Cox went out to dinner at a restaurant in Nahim during the dinner. Arnold stood up and said, I'm embracing that you all had to come out there. I am ashamed. I started thinking, well, just a few hours ago you were saying this was a few bad apples, recalls Miller when that didn't work. You changed direction. Cox, for his part, was saying. After the dinners, he sent 52 Americans to reimburse them for his meal. Americans told him that he cost was actually 80, 80, 98 dollars per person. He forgot over the remaining $48 with a note side next time he treat at a fast food restaurant. On January 23, 2006, the IGs announced that Americans had agreed to pay to settle alligators from 49 states that he had um, engaged in extensive consumer abuse. Americans didn't operate in Virginia because the state requires detailed financial disclosure by the main shareholder of any company doing business there, which Arnold refused to provide. Americans denied all the allegations but agreed to, to make major change in its business, including changing how appraising sales were handled, eliminating incentives to sales personnel to include prepayment penalties or any other fees, and charging the same interest rates and discount point to customers with similar credit profiles. It also set up a fund to make restitutions to customers who could show they had been ripped off by the company. Most of the AIGs were happy. They felt this established a model that the rest of the industry would have to follow. Indeed, after the settlement, New Century wrote in its annual report that if it had to follow the guidelines Americans had agreed to, some of our practices could be called into questions, and our revenues, business results of operation, and profitability could be harmed, which in effect was an admission that the entire industry had been built on a foundation of fraud. As if to prove the point, Americans never really recovered from the settlement. Corporate is making a big push not to clean up its dirty image because of the heat coming down. They even took the Red Bull machines out of the office, wrote one employee on the consumer website Revolt report in the spring of 2005. These employees ended. Good luck to everyone who is victim this devil of a company. You will need it a few months later. On the same site, someone who called himself Eric and said he was an America's executive growth. He will not come out stronger. The company will be better. cleaner, and less profitable. The glory days are over in this company, so pack up your glory and hit elsewhere. In my less than 5 months after the settlement was struck, Ameriquest announced that it is closing retail branches on eliminating jobs and will henceforth operate throughout Fort Regional Call Center. It seemed weight of heartless because they made such a big deal of team, family, and then all of a sudden, boom, says one employee who was laid off. The way was done was especially impersonal. Each department was called into a conference room to hear the news via conference call, which wasn't ever live, but rather a top loop that played over and over again. At headquarters, the mood was bleak. Once the ages really starting digging around and more information become available to employees, that's when people really began to question who we were and that we were doing as an organization, says a former executive.